It is Kristen with Scroggin Travel. So for in this video specifically, we're going to talk about how we found houses to look for in Sicily. I had a few ideas of areas that I already liked and was interested in. And I even mentioned in another one of the videos you probably have already seen that when we started looking for properties, we really thought about properties that people would come in easily on. So, for example, if they've got an airport or they have a cruise ship or they can get over by the ferry easily, then that makes them sort of more ideal for us, especially if we want to be able to rent those out at any period of time. So, while I think we will end up long term buying multiple properties, this is sort of where we wanted to do the first property. As we were started looking through the different websites, I just started kind of randomly Googling things, and I found pretty consistently that there are two sites that I find to be really good. So I'm going to take a second and share those sites with you. The first one that I really love, honestly, is this one, and it is gateaway.com. Gateaway is where I pretty consistently found properties that I liked in the price ranges that I was looking for, in the amount of bedrooms that I was looking for. One of the things that was important to me is I don't want to have to do a whole lot of work on the property. I know I'm going to have to do some work, right? Just because, again, from what I understand, American standards are so ridiculously high compared to the rest of the world, that there's probably going to be some work, some remodeling that I'm going to do no matter what. But I wanted to make sure that I wasn't having to redo plaster or do floors or completely re-roof, because honestly, I've heard horror stories about it. I wanted to make sure that I found properties that were going to do a little bit of that. But I'm just going to kind of show you, go through this actual site real quick and show you how we looked for properties. Okay, so one of the first places that we are looking for properties in is called Catanina, Catani. There it is. Okay, if you wanted to have a price range that was involved, then that's something that you might want to look at. I think better in US dollars, so I'm going to go ahead and convert that over to the US dollars. And I personally don't want to spend more than 250K if at all possible, on this first property. So here's the thing, when you get into areas that are like around beach towns, it's going to get more expensive. And again, anything that's like Palermo and Catanina, sorry, I'm probably saying it wrong, are probably going to be a little more on the high end than if you were looking at somewhere like Biscaquino, or more the inlands of Sicily. But that's how I set my price. Now, it's important for me to have multiple rooms, because again, I have a large family, so I'm going to go with at least 3+ rooms. I right now am not looking at apartments. I'm interested mostly in houses, farmhouses at this point in time. So I'm going to kind of pop that on like that and see what kind of search it'll give us. So there you go. You're going to see sort of the houses and you can kind of sort them based on your properties and things like this. But this was the other area that I wanted to show you that was really important. Going over here to the more filters. For me, it needed to be completely restored or habitable. Ugh, can't speak today. Something's wrong with me. But habitable. I needed to be able to move into it right now. I don't necessarily want new because I want it in the price range that I want. And I want to keep some of that old world charm. So I just wanted to make sure that I showed this to you. And again, how many bathrooms it might be important to you, just so you know, significantly fewer amounts of bathrooms in most of the properties that I've looked at, in Sicily, than definitely in the United States. If you want to have a garden, if you need to be near the coast, any of those things, you can also search as you go through. But I'm going to let that research, again with those properties. So you're going to see different areas, that are all through, that you can look through different properties and see what kind of matches what you're looking for. There's a lot of things that I was specifically looking for in the houses. So that was important to me. I also have a tendency, because I'm kind of bougie, I have a tendency to start at the max price, and then work my way down, going that way. Again, you'll see things like semi-detached. That means it's next to another house. Detached completely is going to be like a regular detached house that you would see in the US. So definitely that's one of the things that you want to think about when it comes to neighbors, areas like that. Another thing that I found was really interesting is when I started asking for information, like let's just do this one. When I started asking for information, people were very quick to respond. The realtors were very quick to respond to me, but then they wanted to move over to WhatsApp almost immediately. So just know that if you don't have WhatsApp, that sort of especially in Italy, seems to be the communicator between the two groups, between the Italians and the Americans. And so they're going to want to move the conversation over to that as fast as they can, very often. The other thing that I found was very interesting is that when I asked about seeing the properties, very rare. It's not like a lot of realtors in America where they can show you properties even if they're not the ones selling the house. It didn't seem like, and again, this is just from the conversations that I had, but it didn't seem like realtors could show me properties that were not at least in their group. So, like, if they were under this Remax Platinum, then they were a realtor for that, then maybe they could show you all the houses that were under Remax Platinum. But the ones who did not seem to be able to do that. So that's by far my favorite one of all of the places that I search through houses on. The other one that I really like is the Dove, Italy. When I did this over my phone, just so you know, it gave it to me all in English. So a little more complicated today than what I normally look at, but um, I'm gonna go over here. Yeah, so is there a certain house that you're looking for? What's your budget? Do you have a size preference? Things like that. And you can search through that. Let's see if I can get a good translate. There we go. Translate that for me. Okay. So I don't know if any of your Mac people, but pop that on there. So again, let's go to Palermo here. I'm not a good speller today. The Palermo, that works. And then I'm still looking around the 250,000. Now this is euro, which is again, you want to always check your calculations. And they work in square meters, not square feet. So if you have a hard time visualizing that, you can go online and pull up a square meters to square feet calculation. It'll help you with your brain. Again, you can still go in through here for filters. Um, you know, uh, and then of course they'll say you can save your search, set up an account, things like that if you want to. But this will help you. And again, I mean, some of them are just absolutely beautiful. Like this is 185,000 euro. Just an absolutely, fabulous, fabulous property. So definitely something to look at. Very often the furniture comes with the houses, as far as from what I can tell so far. Very often furniture comes. I know that you can at least ask for that. There are some places that I've seen just in doing my research that nothing comes with the house. And when I mean nothing, I mean they also take out the entire kitchen. Like I leave the countertops and the cabinets sometimes, and then everything else goes. And that seems to be unique to this particular region. But you want to make sure you're asking your whoever realtor you're working with, how they're going to do it. The other thing that I found is in talking to people, there's also a lot of properties that are not listed anywhere around here. So if you can find a friend in the area, or you can make friends, a lot of people that do hosting or touring or any kind of programs like that around Sicily are the people to know. And so if you go on a vacation and you have somebody that takes you around, very often they'll know the people in the area and who you need to talk to actually be finding properties. So don't be afraid necessarily to look through properties that way too. That's how I actually came across this particular group. And they've been very good and very responsive to me, answering any and all of the questions that I've had. And I'm going to go see a house in Biscaquino with this particular group. So, but as far as looking at and finding properties, I'd say if you're shopping, I would say definitely start here with Dove IT, or look at Gateway.